Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to EV Nickel's channel, accelerating the transition to the clean energy future, discovering battery metals. Joining us, as always, Chief Executive Officer Sean Sampson. Welcome back, sir.
Great to be here. Nice to speak.
And always a pleasure to have you back. So you guys just recently closed on that acquisition that you did near the Shaw Dome at your Langmuir project. Can you kind of just reiterate what's going on there and give us some insight?
Yeah, we just closed. Really excited about it. So again, our starter land package with Langmuir was 9,100 hectares. And now we've picked up an enormous piece of land around ours on the Shaw Dome. It'll bring us up to over 30,000 hectares. So it's a very large package. And we're really excited to get into it and figure out how much more metal we can find underground there. Again, as we're pulling together a clean nickel story in Northern Ontario, southeast of Timmins.
And on top of that, can you just kind of talk about what you think is there? What kind of got you attracted to that land piece?
Yeah, well, we're really into the Shaw Dome because we love its proximity to Timmins. It's a location in Northern Ontario, meaning that it draws on clean hydro power for when we get up and running with an operation. Also, it's an area where there has been historic mining. So smart miners always say the greatest place to find more mineralization is near the old mineralization. So across the Shaw Dome, there has been historic production. We have an existing resource down in the Langmuir deposit. And also we know that the nickel continues across this area. So we're really excited about getting in and trying to find out what else is there. A big part of our work over the past month, since we announced this transaction at the end of February, has been compiling the data that the vendor had. And we're really excited about what we found there. And we're going to immediately apply for our exploration permits and get moving, trying to figure out what we find from the drilling.
Now, do you want to just kind of iterate the timeline and the drill program that you're going to implement here?
Yeah, so we immediately applied for our permits on sort of 4 areas across the larger land package that we're most excited about. We are immediately starting on a geophysics review, which is the first step we did last year when we had the Langmuir project. So we take all of the existing EM data, we rerun it with a third party. Now we're doing it across the entire Shaw Dome. And from that, we're going to prioritize targets. So it works out quite nicely because it takes a couple months to get your permits, it takes a couple months to get the results back from the third-party geophysics, and we'll figure out our targets. So we're really excited to get in. It also works out nicely with the seasons. We're into the short period in which you can't be very active up there because of spring, and we'll be ready to get right back into the bush as soon as things dry up, we hope, and we'll get out trying to find out how much more metal there is underground.
That's great to hear. And just to reiterate for the newer investors coming into this and considering how fascinating nickel has been as a commodity, do you want to just kind of iterate your bull thesis behind nickel and just kind of give us some insight on that?
Yeah, there certainly has been a lot of attention to nickel over the past month or so, initially for terrible reasons with the conflict, the war in Ukraine. Now, of course, that spikes nickel price immediately because one of the largest producers of nickel in the world, especially nickel sulfide, is Russia. And when that comes off the board in terms of the supply-demand balance in the nickel market, it ran buyers to bid up the price of the metal. So that's initially what happened. And then I'm sure many investors have read on top of that, traders saw the opportunity to do a short squeeze on in particular, one of the Chinese trading groups. It was a group that is a producer. So producers ordinarily are always selling their product, anticipating that they will deliver on product once the contract for the future sale comes up. And traders saw the price of nickel going up initially because of the war in Ukraine, and they saw an opportunity to take advantage of one of the other market participants, in this case, one of the largest producers of nickel in the world, and they, as a result, squeezed that trader. So that's what really led to a big hockey stick over a week or so, shut down trading on the LME, created all kinds of excitement, unwound trades, all kinds of posturing from both sides. Guys that had profited from the trading were frustrated that the trades had been unwound. And it really left the market with a big sort of issue to try to address. That said, it brings people in to focus in on nickel. My bullish case for nickel has nothing to do with anticipated war with one of the largest supplying countries in the world, or a short squeeze. The bullish case for nickel is really around the fundamentals of nickel sulfide being required for electric vehicles. The electric vehicle demand has been going through the roof. Anticipated future demand for electric vehicle batteries is very high. Right now, the global nickel supply demand is balanced out on stainless steel. People forecasting out how much nickel sulfide will be required by, say, 2030, and the growth rates of that demand show that nickel will flip from being a majority stainless steel metal to an electric vehicle battery. And by that point, supply, which we can model out now as to what will be available at that point in time. So supply based on exploration, permitting, developing of projects cannot keep up with the forecast demand. So that's a great place to be if you're someone like me looking to develop a nickel business, because as we look out in time, there will be a short period, a period in which supply that we know of will not be able to meet the demand forecasts as driven by these electric vehicle batteries. So that's my case, my economic case for nickel. I stay in my lane though. I don't spend a whole lot of time talking about that. My focus is trying to find and deliver more nickel for a nickel business that we're growing, a clean nickel business in Northern Ontario near Timmins.
Incredible insight, Sean. I really appreciate your time today. Thanks so much for coming out.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me. I look forward to continuing the conversation.
And I look forward to seeing the story evolve. And on that note, I pass the question off to you guys. We'd love to know what you think in that comment section below. Consider subscribing, because as updates come down the wire, we'll of course continue to update you here. But stay cool, stay awesome. And as always, I look forward to catching you in the next one.